All right, 100 days of Keto Chow. Today is day 14. We're at the 2-week mark.
Woohoo!
So that's 2 weeks down, and it's like 12 or 13 to go. We're at 14% of the way done. So let's see. What went on yesterday? So the challenge is still going really well. I haven't had any problems doing just Keto Chow. I mean, yeah, it's kind of sucked when I've been like cooking food that I'm not going to eat, but well, so goes life. But yesterday I had chocolate mint that I warmed up in the microwave in a mug. That was really good.
Right now.
That's what Miriam's having.
So good.
And then I also had raspberry cheesecake for lunch. Although I poured some of that into a cup because a customer was in here and she tried the vanilla and the chocolate toffee that we have for people to taste. But she said, "Oh, the raspberry cheesecake sounds really good," or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, I have that for lunch. Here, you can have some of mine." Anyway, and then when I got home, I had the root beer float, which it had been a while since I'd had a root beer float. It was really good, like really good. I'm glad I made those. So, yeah, today I'm having, I think I've got root beer float and chocolate mint again. So we'll see which one I decide to go with for breakfast. Probably the chocolate mint again, because that's really nice in the morning to warm it up. Let's see. What else do I have going on? Oh, yesterday I tested my ketones with my Keto-Mojo blood ketone tester thing. And I was at 4.0 millimolars per deciliter, which is really getting up there. I've had higher numbers in the past, and once again, having high numbers of ketones isn't like a badge of honor. It's not like something to aspire to. For me, it's interesting on a what's the word? Oh, I'm trying to think of talk. If for scientific or research or something like that, it's academically interesting, though it doesn't necessarily do anything for my weight loss. But it does. Once again, it indicates that yes, what I'm doing is conducive to creating ketones. My liver is working just great.
Good job, liver.
Yay, liver! I have one of those and it works. Anyway, so yeah, it's interesting to get really high ketones like that. It also comes along with some mental clarity, and I've also gotten a lot better sleep the last couple days. Some of that might have to do with the fact that the kids didn't have school yesterday, so we slept in until 6:30, which was really awesome.
2 days in a row. Woohoo!
Well, yeah, I guess on Sunday we slept in too. Today we got up at our normal time of, what is it, 5:20?
Yep.
Because we got to get the high schoolers off to school and everything. So anyway, so yeah, I popped all that into Cron-O-Meter. I've been, and also having the higher ketones is usually an indicator of that your carbohydrate intake is low. I think I had 10.2 net carbs yesterday, and it's a higher net carbs than it would be if I was using just oil, because I'm using heavy cream in addition to some MCT oil. And yeah, when you use just oil, you can get your net carbs are really, really low if you're doing just Keto Chow for 3 meals a day. So, and I will be doing that later on during the science portion of the experiment. But yeah, and speaking of net carbs, Cron-O-Meter is what I use for all my tracking. I really like it for a lot of reasons. Number one is that it has a keto setting and will calculate net carbs for it, which for me is very important. There's even a little checkbox that you can say whether you wanted to track sugar alcohols as net carbs or exclude them, which is cool because some people, they can't do sugar alcohols. For them, erythritol is the same as plain old sugar. Other people don't have a problem with it. So once you figure out what works for you, You can either check or uncheck that box. But one of the biggest things with Cron-O-Meter is that it has a curated database, meaning that everything so you can create your own foods and you can create recipes from foods, which is really awesome to do. There's a recipe in mine for jalapeno poppers, and I added jalapenos and I added cream cheese and I added bacon, and that's jalapeno poppers. So if I want to log jalapeno poppers, it's really simple. And when you get a recipe that you're going to make, you can throw all of the stuff into Cron-O-Meter with the amounts that you are using, and then it says makes 12 servings, and so you tell it, I want this to be 12 servings, and it just calculates everything for you. It's really awesome. Cron-O-Meter's database is kind of geared towards people who are going to be using whole foods ingredients to make stuff. And because it's curated, you know that all the information that's in there is accurate. I used to use MyFitnessPal, and MyFitnessPal is nice because it has a really huge user-submitted database that just anybody can add anything they want, and it instantly goes online. The problem with MyFitnessPal is it has an incredibly large user-submitted database. And a lot of the data that's in there is, quite frankly, junk. There's like 5 or 6 entries for salted butter. One says salted butter, net carbs. One says salted butter, blah, blah, blah. And the things like, you have those weird entries, among other things, because MyFitnessPal does not calculate net carbs. It only shows carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And if you want to subtract net carbs, you have to do the math yourself. On desktop, on like Chrome and stuff like that, there's a user script that you can install that will do the calculation for you. But on mobile, nope. And yeah, it was just too much of a hassle for me personally to use MyFitnessPal with its just junky database. It was a waste of my time. And the fact that it didn't calculate net carbs.
Hey, I have a cool thing
What's
about
the cool thing?
Cron-O-Meter.
What's that?
You can share your recipes with me. So I can put in jalapeno poppers, and if you shared it with me, then
Yep.
I can do the same recipe. So that's cool. I think.
That is cool. So in case you didn't hear it, if you are signed up for Cron-O-Meter Premium or Gold, I think is what it's called, and you have friends, someone requests that they be a friend and you say that they are a friend, all of your custom foods and custom recipes show up on each other's Cron-O-Meter accounts, which is awesome. And I'm gonna put this video the blog post for it has a link to more information about Cron-O-Meter. When I first got into Cron-O-Meter, for some reason I had a couple of Bitcoin, well, not a couple of, several portions of Bitcoin because a full one was really expensive. But and Cron-O-Meter had a thing going that you could buy a lifetime membership to Cron-O-Meter using Bitcoin if you wanted to. So I did. It's actually really nice because you go on there, and I go on there, and so does Miriam, and it just says lifetime membership. Awesome. Anyhow. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about today. What is going on today? We got our Facebook Live. That's going to be tonight.
Facebook Live.
Miriam and I will be doing that at 7:30 Mountain Time.
7:30.
And what else is going on? I've got a bunch of projects I'm working on, trying to get different stuff up and running. Oh, so we ran out of fasting drops yesterday.
We should get some today or tomorrow.
And this is okay, it sucks that we're out of it, but it is a good opportunity because we're changing the name of fasting drops to electrolyte drops. Because a lot of people thought that because it was called fasting drops, you could only use it for fasting. And we talked to the people in the intensive dietary management program, Megan Ramos specifically. And for them, they have a lot of kidney patients who can't use potassium. So We're changing the fasting drops to electrolyte drops, and those are the ones that have potassium, magnesium, and sodium. And then we're introducing a new reformulated fasting drops that is almost entirely just sodium. It does have trace amounts of potassium and magnesium, and it has other trace minerals, but it's primarily sodium for fasting. So if you just need electrolytes in general, if you need sodium, magnesium, and potassium, the electrolyte drops will be what you will go for. If you're doing fasting, you could use the electrolyte drops, or you could use the fasting drops, which are just a higher sodium.
So you could use less.
I would actually use more. But
Well, I mean, you have to use like 5 capfuls of the fasting drops to get the right amount of sodium. But when you're doing the fasting drops, you won't have to use as much.
That's true. You won't have to use as much because instead of there being, I think it ends up being 200 and something milligrams of sodium per capful.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 capfuls. I'm not actually positive.
Yeah. So, anyhow, I'll be putting the information about that up on the site today because we're out of the fasting drops, so it's a good time to switch over. And we should be getting more of the electrolyte drops and the fasting drops either today or tomorrow, or today and tomorrow. So that's what my day's like today. Anyway, you have a good day, and well, I'll see you later tonight because you're going to come to the Facebook Live, right?
Ooh, ask a million questions.
Yeah, and ask a million questions. The questions are on the Facebook version, and we are using this same camera to do the broadcast, but I'm also recording it. So the recording will be posted on YouTube, but the live where you can get on there and actually ask questions in real time, well, semi-real time, there's like a 30-second delay. That'll be on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook, on the Keto Chow Facebook page. Anyway, okay. See ya on day 15.